how many times does that need to happen before we're having a conversation about whether or not maybe Sears needs to be a starter? Welcome to the Morados podcast, your source for everything Louisville City and Racing Louisville on the State of Louisville podcast network. I'm Zach.
And I'm Benton.
Ben, I'm angry this week.
Yeah. I feel like we've had weeks like this a lot.
We had a good game and the bad game, and I'm angry about the bad game, then I'm happy about the good game.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm with you on that one. So I was live watching the Louisville City game. However, you were away and got to dual screen it.
Yep.
So
yeah, plus I drove like 400 miles on Sunday and I'm sleepy, so that probably doesn't help the mood either.
Yeah, it probably doesn't. So, I mean, I've obviously seen stuff about the racing match, but fill in the gaps for me.
Yeah. All right. Well, first off, I hate having to dual screen the games.
Oh, that
we've had way too many overlaps this year.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't know if it was just me.
Not been this bad before, right? This is
I was thinking the same thing. There's been a lot of it this year, and it's not been
I feel like in seasons past, it was like maybe 2 to 3 games per season that we had this, and it feels like it's almost every weekend now. That the games are going on at the same time. So that's frustrating. So so I was splitting my attention between both the games, which kind of did a disservice to racing because there was just a lot more going on in the Louisville City game. So, but yeah, so racing away at Utah. I mean, we mentioned last week that, not mathematically, but vibes-wise, a must-win because it's their best chance for points in the entire last 5 games they had. Away to the worst team in the league. I think that I saw a stat at the start of the game that Utah was 2-10 at home, and Racing was like 1-9 on the road. So it was the real battle of wills for who could get the points. But like that you're not gonna get an opportunity for points on the road better than they had away at Utah. So just a frustrating game to get a little bit of momentum coming out of last week, to finally gotten back into playoff position, and to not be able to follow up on it with a needed win on the road against a bottom of the table team. They're no longer the bottom of the table, but they were at the start of the game. But I mean, as far as how the game went, I mean, it was a very, very quiet first half. I think you mentioned the game flow is just a flat line for that first half.
Yeah, there's absolutely nothing for racing in terms of XG generated.
Yeah, and then second half, racing I think made some good changes at halftime. Sears came in. I think it was 2 subs. Yeah, Sears and Fisher both subbed in for the second half, and for the first 15 or 20 minutes in the second half, that is a huge difference. The team looked way better. That they were finally getting some chances. Had 2 or 3 sequences where they really felt like the ball should have gone in the net, and just kind of either had a finish that left some to be desired, or just on Fisher's shot, just an incredible save to keep that out. So, I was feeling pretty good at the start of the second half, but then it's one of those situations where when you get a couple of opportunities like that and it doesn't go in, it starts to feel like, are we due a response? Like, are we going to regret not closing any of those chances? And then Utah scored on just an absolute whirly. I don't know if you saw the clip of the goal from Tejada, but it was not even. She was flat-footed 10 yards outside the box and just hit a laser to the side net. I mean, kind of nothing Lund could do about that one. And that really kind of took the wind out of the sails. Racing didn't really have a lot going on after that. I think it was the 78th minute.
I mean, on the little game flow chart, there was not a lot after that.
But really, other than that spark at the start of the halftime, just a really quiet game from Racing. And I wanted to make a note because this has been a theme, but I feel like we've said several games in a row now that Racing started really, really slow, and then things picked up when Sears subbed in.
Mm-hmm.
How many times does that need to happen before we're having a conversation about whether or not maybe Sears needs to be a starter rather than the sub?
Yeah, no, that's fair to play devil's advocate.
They're not getting anything going in these first halves.
Yeah, but to play devil's advocate on that one, she might be benefiting on playing against a little bit more tired set of legs. Yeah. I like the speedster off the bench sort of thing, but doesn't mean she shouldn't be getting looks for starting. So it just feels like the team's not able to put anything together until she checks into the game for a couple of games now. Yeah, I mean, it sucks that you have to be so reliant on one player to actually kind of make stuff happen, but I hear you. You're not wrong. Well, I mean, and it's also, who is she starting for? I wouldn't want to take Balser out for her. But I do wonder if maybe I don't know. If it were me and I was if the team got very desperate and suddenly it was Zach's decision for how do we change things up and get a little bit of a spark here, I would think about maybe swapping roles there and having Becky be the closer off the bench and starting with Sears in some of these games just to mix it up a bit. I mean, at this point, why not? Why not is that it would fail spectacularly if I were in charge of anything. But no, I didn't mean putting you in charge. Hell no. We're not that desperate yet. Yeah, no. But yeah, so that was the game. I didn't want to spotlight because I think we got a lot of the team was definitely putting out a lot of praise for Lund after the game, which is usually not a good sign. But I think was warranted. I think she had despite the loss, I think she had a pretty incredible game. But I wanted to spotlight. They had a turnover in the second half. I think it was early in the second half. Last defender back tried to, I don't even know exactly. It's tried to turn and kind of got caught between trying to dribble back or play a pass back. Lund was 30 yards behind them. And just sort of dribbled the ball backwards at midfield about 5 feet. Who was it for? I think it was Betfort for Utah. Just picked it off easily and had she was the only player on the attacking half of the field for either team. Had a one-on-one with Lund from midfield. And I wanted to spotlight, not to throw any shade at any other goalkeepers in Louisville, but played that absolutely perfectly in that situation. She was not overly aggressive. Rather than coming out and trying to meet the player at halfway down the field, she took her time and backed up and made the attacker dribble the entire way in, and then when she got to about the top of the box, stopped backpedaling and then took her step forward and made the Utah player rush a shot, and she kicked it right into Lund and made a great save. So I just wanted to shout out. That's the worst situation you can get put in as a
as a goalkeeper having to defend a shot for that long, and she played it absolutely as perfectly as you could and saved a goal. What should have been an easy goal for Utah, right?
Old school U.S. soccer shootout style.
And it was, yeah. I actually, man. You're gonna get me on a tangent. I think that's a better way to do penalty kicks. Actually,
I don't mind them.
I think penalty kicks as we have it are broken, and it's actually like a problem with the way soccer is constructed from just like a game theory standpoint, that penalty kicks are too high value for what they're generally a consequence of.
Well, I think part of that's the product of it being a box. I'm in the camp that it should be like
two solutions to it, which is like one is just the box should be smaller. Or an arc.
It shouldn't be a box. Yeah, there shouldn't be the corners that people are baiting.
But another solution is like penalty kick should be a lower expected value shot.
Yeah.
So actually, I think old school MLS should have stuck to their guns and kept the hockey style free kick. I never actually saw. I don't know how many of those they did. I would like to see some numbers on like what the shooting percentage was on, or the conversion percentage was on those hockey style.
There's some soccer sickos out there, and I bet it's been done. So
because
I got peruse the internet.
Because how long was it? Only the first season? How long did they keep that up?
No, it was pretty dang early.
It can't have been more than 1 or 2 seasons, I don't think. So, but I don't know. I thought there are good changes and bad changes. I think like if you're gonna tweak something, tweak it on a part of the game that already like doesn't quite work. So big fan of that. More stuff like that from the league.
Yeah. As for the game, I didn't get to see much of it. I was getting to watch a little bit of it during the Louisville City match, but not too much. But Lund seemed to be doing well. Looks like she had 4 saves on the night. That sequence, it could have been worse. But I'm just super frustrated. Like this was supposed to be as give me as they're going to get, and they're in a situation where they absolutely must win. We're not really at a point anymore where we can afford to just like kind of praise these silver linings.
There's no games off, right?
They're running out of runway, and they keep dropping the most important games. I'm still mad about that Bay game. Still mad about it. And then you go to Utah and they pound 17 shots on you. 5 on target. Like they were MIA the first half. Like, I mean, heck, if Racing played the first half, maybe it's a different story. I don't know. I'm just super frustrated. Maybe this is a culmination of like 4 years.
Yeah.
Of waiting.
Yeah, I was looking at the table, because I was doing some math coming into this game. Like, what do they got to do to get to 500? I was just looking at like, can we even have a winning season? Because we've not had that yet. in how many years now? Like, it's just like
they're not out of the mix yet, but they're like, man, like they're not giving you anything, like any like sense of like optimism or momentum or whatnot. Like this is their opportunity to get a 3rd straight win. All of a sudden it becomes a very different story, but then they go and drop it. And what's up next? They got to go play Kansas City, one of the better teams in the league. I mean, there's a world where Bay just kind of bombs out, or heck, even Portland. They're at 28 points too. Yeah, and Racing leapfrogs them,
but at 28, they're at 25.
Man, it doesn't even feel deserved at this point.
Yeah, I mean it definitely. And we'll see.
Sneaking in the playoffs.
There's 4 games left. Like they could make it feel like they played into it, but it definitely feels like like someone else is going to back out of it for them.
That's it. They're basically at a point where they need help from elsewhere.
Yeah.
It's just a crappy feeling, like
we all became Seattle fans on Sunday after this game.
After they put together those 2 wins, I got suckered into believing again. Shame on me for that one.
I said it last week. The worst thing you could do is believe.
Yeah. They gave me hope. So I don't know.
And
I'm just pretty frustrated and mad about the whole situation. Like,
and I think
we shouldn't be here.
It feels like as a fan, it actually feels worse than if they just were terrible and not even in it at all. The thing that like really makes it frustrating is they're just always right there. This whole season, they have been right there. It feels like they're on the cusp for 6 months now.
Yeah, I felt like we felt like that last year. Like, oh, they're on the cusp this year. This is our year. Like, it's going to happen, and then it doesn't. Yeah. Or they're going to accidentally find their way in the playoffs, and it's going to be very unsatisfying. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I want them to succeed. Don't get me wrong.
Man, I want some playoff games. I'll take it. I'll take back and in. I just it's just it's really playing with all of our emotions. It's got to be tough on the team too to just be constantly feel like you're right there and not able to close out. This game really has made the season a microcosm of like the games. The individual games are are very much mirroring the season as a whole, where it's like they get ahead a little bit and then they can't find a way to close it out, and that's sort of happening with the season too. Like they finally get back into playoff spot. They're there, and then they can't see it through to the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say we don't normally do players of the game, and this is a weird one, but like Lund is kind of the only candidate. I other than Lund, no one really had a good game at all for the team. It was a pretty, I mean, like you mentioned, that there was 15 minutes there in the second half where they really came alive. And other than that, it was just quiet.
Yeah.
From everyone.
So, looking at the table in our remaining matches, I'm a fool, and I'm looking.
I've given up on that. I'm with Coach now, where it's a every game one at a time situation now. I'm just ignoring it's all the.
You gotta look for opportunity where they can make some progress, right? Like
every game is an opportunity to make some progress if they win it.
Because there's like a scenario where if they win out, they still don't make it because the other teams did their job. But
with 4 games left, I would find that extremely unlikely. Well, I actually don't know. Do Bay and Portland play each other? Because they actually.
Here's the part I'm trying to get to is that we play Portland second to last game. Now, I mean, Kansas City.
If they win out, they're in. So that actually is because Portland can't win out if Louisville does.
Well, that wasn't. I was trying to say that's a gap we can close. They're at 28 points. We're at 25. All of a sudden, we're even. We have the better goal differential. So the path still exists. There's still some control. But again, like just how frequently they have dropped it or fumbled, it just makes me feel bad. But there's still more chance for belief if you want to be in that camp. But they have a hard road.
Like I said, they're still in the situation where if they win out, they're in the playoffs. How likely you think it is that they're able to win out is the bigger question there.
Yeah, like Portland plays.
Although next. It's been rough.
And they play Angel City, so they got a little easier hand, a little bit.
Portland's last 5 games are loss, draw, loss. So, like, it is not going well for Portland right now. So, but like, you're not, even if Portland loses, you have to win games to make up space on them. So
I mean, ultimately the point is that they do have some control still over the situation. It is not completely a pray from results from elsewhere to happen.
Yeah. They can still they can hang a loss on Portland and take it into their own hands.
Yeah,
But
one game at a time, though, like you said.
I mean, if they close the season out on a 4-game win streak, I think we're feeling a lot different. The vibes on the end of season podcast are going to be pretty high if they win.
Oh yeah. I mean, that'd be pretty spectacular. It's
given what we've seen with the rest of the season.
I'm not betting on it.
I don't think it's very realistic to be able to, because they've not won more than 2 in a row all year. So
I'm not betting on that.
They would have to double their win streak.
All right, I've had enough negativity in my life. Let's talk about Blue City match. How about it?
All right, let's talk about the dreary rain match to brighten things up.
It wasn't that bad. That most of the bad weather had happened
for our good drainage field.
Yeah.
Boy, if this game were at Slugger, that would have been a nightmare.
Yeah, would have been a very different story, but the investment's paying off.
Yep.
So, I mean,
we rode through a monsoon and had a playable field, which is pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, you were watching the match as well, but this is, I don't know, I thought this was an interesting match and a good testament of the team's kind of grit and determination, right? Because they go down early. They go down 2-0 early. And that second goal looked an awful lot like the first goal in Detroit. Kind of that very angled shot from a set piece thing, which I remember Coach Cruz saying after the Detroit match, that's something that they had trained on and talked about before. So he's frustrated by it. So I can't imagine that went over much better with him either. And it'd been really easy for the team to quit because it just didn't seem like they had a lot of momentum in that favor in their going their way. I don't know if you could tell on the broadcast though, but you could really feel and hear the attitude shift in the stadium, because also we're down 2-0. Are we about to hit some sort of slump or something late
on the broadcast?
Yeah. But I feel like France did start to kind of get into it a little bit, especially, Wilson Harris gets that first goal. And all of a sudden, I think that was a big jolt of confidence from the team because really by that point, they really start to kind of climb their way back in the match. And, I mean, it's, well, heck, I was going to say by halftime, it was probably all in our favor, but we had taken the lead at that point. Probably even a little bit before that.
It's crazy enough to come back from a 2-goal deficit to win. To come back from a 2-goal deficit to have the lead at halftime is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty wild. But I think, to me, one of the even more impressive things about it is for the whole second half of the match, Memphis was just so deflated and defeated. They were just trying to get the match over with rather than trying to win it. Louisville City had regained that much control over it. We're imposing their will that much over Memphis.
Do you think
it was? I thought it was. I mean, it was quite wild and pretty jarring, just how much things had shifted.
Yeah.
They just straight demoralized Memphis. It was great to see.
You think Memphis' goalkeeper, I think Tyler Derich, I'm not a superstitious person, but if I were, I would blame him because I don't know if you remember, but he stopped the game to change.
Oh, I remember.
Right after they scored to go up 2-0, and I don't know if he switched back to the original cleats at halftime, but I would have.
No, I was. He
cursed him. You can't change anything when you go up 2-0. You got to keep it rolling.
I was watching up in the in the press box because I had already given away my tickets because I thought I was supposed to be out of town for it.
Yeah,
and he right away, Jonathan Lintner gets a screen grab of the guy tying his cleats and whatnot. He already had the means kind of locked and loaded on that one, and just the fact they kept pouring down after that moment.
I said out loud to Lori on the couch, I was like, "Oh, that's bad luck. You don't want to do that when you're with the lead."
Yeah, I mean, he was just he was
switching to the long.
He was wasting time.
It was understandable. He felt like he didn't have enough grip.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't even need to. It was really a strategizing thing. It was like just that is the dark arts he was doing there.
No, but see, it's the dark arts in reverse. You don't want to interrupt things when you're
he played himself
when you're the one with the flow going.
Dude, they were already wasting time before that.
Yeah.
Like they were trying shenanigans very
like
early.
The dark arts is Laws switching cleats then, because it's like you want to interrupt the flow when things are going good for the other team.
Yeah, no, but they got up 2-0. Then they started to they took their time a little bit, particularly the keeper. I remember one point he's like holding on the ball, really taking his sweet time. And it's
like
because we saw that against
that was legitimately switching your cleats in the 20th minute is legitimately like he just felt like he didn't have enough grip and went with the longer studs like that. I don't think you don't time waste 20 minutes into a game because you haven't even had halftime yet. There's not like
talk to people.
But yeah, anyway, what we can agree on is that the loss is his fault.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. And again, like just the fact of the mentality of the team to kind of stick in it. You're going down 2-0 at home.
Yeah.
And then to come back and just completely just mentally break Memphis.
You want a wild little bit of trivia?
Sure.
Do you know when the last time Louisville City came back to win from a 2-goal deficit was?
Yep. The final regular season match of Slugger, that wild 8-3 game, one of my favorites of all time.
Yeah. Wait, they were down more than 2, right?
They were down 3. They were down 3-0, and then they scored 8 straight.
Do you want to know? I will stipulate I'm not superstitious, but you want to know what changed the momentum in that game? Is my parents were extremely late, and they came down and sat in their seats next to us right after that third goal was scored. Immediately turned things around.
So here it was me thinking is the fact they ate 2-foot-long corn dogs during that match. I got an 8-1, and they start scoring, and my seatmates we're joking around, oh, you gotta get another one, and then one of them went to go get food and accidentally gave him a corn dog and said he wanted a regular hot dog, so they gave the corn dog me, and I ate that one too, and they kept scoring, and so it's kind of a joke. I just gotta keep crushing corn dogs to get the team to score.
Do we have corn dogs?
It was very disgusting feat. I'm not proud of it.
Are there corn dogs anywhere?
I don't know if there are at Lynn Family Stadium.
All right, we got to contact because they do the game specials with the secret menu foods or whatever. We gotta get in touch
Benton's
with racing and get them to add corn dogs for the last 2 racing home games.
Let's get the cookie lady back too. It's been too long.
Oh yeah, I love casino cookies.
Walk around with the basket on her head. It was good stuff.
Oh,
very sad. So,
have we had casino cookies at the new field? That's all. Nope. Yeah, that's only a Slugger thing.
It was only Slugger. Yep.
Yeah. Somebody needs to make a phone call.
Yeah. Would have liked that, but no. And this one, shout out Taylor Davila. This I feel like he gets slept on a little bit with how many other great acquisitions we had in the offseason. Dude's a stud in the midfield, banging in goals.
Did we just both try to make the same transition?
Were you going there too?
Yeah, I was about to say how Davila scored 2 all season goals in the same game, and we haven't mentioned him yet.
Dude, all he does is hit bangers. I don't know if he's hit any inside the box. They're always just blasted from outside. He's so good.
Yeah, because I was gonna mention he made. Man, we're really taking it to the goalkeeper, but he made Derich for Memphis look absolutely silly on that first goal he scored. I don't think I've seen. Every once in a while you'll see on a free kick where you catch a goalkeeper flat-footed. I don't think I've seen from outside the box in the run of play like that. Someone score a goal where the goalkeeper didn't even move, just watched it in. His feet were planted. He got no use out of those fresh cleats.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
made him look absolutely silly.
Yeah, he was great. I mean, there's a lot of good performances there. I feel really bad for Adrian Perez because he had at least 4 very close calls. He was just inches away in all of them. Just a rough night.
Scott gave him the lead at the start of the game on a really really good shot.
Oh yeah, no, he had several. Like that scoreline could have been very different and even more lopsided.
Yeah,
but didn't
well,
end up being
and
much.
it's like the stats show, like Louisville was the way better team.
Yeah,
just not anyway. You can see it. They earned that win. It was not like they got down and kind of got lucky. They earned it.
Yeah.
I think it was like 2 to 0.8 expected goals. After those first two, it was all Louisville City.
Yeah, 2.17 for Louisville City and 1.07 for Memphis. And Memphis's stuff was really just that early on, and then it pretty much died out. Like I said, the momentum swing is pretty jarring.
That first goal was, it's not lucky, but that was not like, if you're Louisville City, that's a shot. That's not the worst thing in the world to give up that shot. It was a good finish. He hit the back of the net, but I feel like that was not a super great look from the angle it was at.
So it's also worth noting that Memphis at the time of the game, they were 4th place in the West, so they weren't exactly like
they're good,
a pushover team. Like it was a quality team. So that was another thing that made me particularly happy about how that happened. Obviously, you don't want to go down early, concede 2 goals that quickly, but how they responded, like that's the kind of stuff that champs do.
Well, not only did they respond, but all the goals were great. The Winder's goal was kind of an insane finish. To play it on the ground from that deep, he passed it in from like 40 yards.
Yeah, it was like a low blazer. It was a lot of fun. It ended up being a really good match, and so shout out to all the people that came despite the nasty weather that weekend. They ended up getting their money's worth out of it.
Yeah, shout out to everybody who, unlike terrible fans like me, were able to actually make it out.
I wasn't supposed to be there, but I was because of the weather. I didn't make it to South Carolina, so rip for the best. So anyway, and we're recording on Tuesday night, so tomorrow night we play Miami. I'm just going to go ahead and just put a little W next to that one. You can go ahead and flame me online if we don't get a job. What'd you say?
Can't sleep on the midweek games.
But you can with the worst team in USL history. Hey, anything can happen. Roast me on Twitter. Tag me if I got that one wrong. So we're gonna skip over that one because who cares?
Yes, sir. All right. I know Tampa got hit really hard this past weekend. What's the water situation in Miami right now? Is that game going to be playable tomorrow?
Well, it should be because it's at Lynn Family Stadium.
Oh, it's a home game. Why was I thinking it was at Miami?
No, yeah, that would be very.
We're good. Our field is definitely above water.
Do you know what their goal differential is? Don't look it up. I want to read it out to you.
I'm one button click away. I think. Well, let's see.
Give me a guess.
Is Louisville like plus 35 right now?
They're plus 36. Plus 36.
Oh, hey, that's high five to me. That was off the dome. I'm gonna guess.
What's the opposite end?
They're plus 36. I think Miami is minus 40.
Minus 46.
I lowballed it.
You were too nice to them. Look, like if there's any game that they should win, it's playing Miami at home.
So they're
and their goalkeeper, not that their goalkeeper's been doing great this year. Their goalkeeper got
82 goal differential.
So Miami's goalkeeper situation, they have juggled goalkeepers all year. Like the starts are evenly spread. But the keeper that they most recently been going with got a red card against Indy. And Indy also got a red card for one of their regular starting defenders. Both of those are important for Louisville City. Obviously, the goalkeeper from Miami will not be in action for us. But Indy's next match is against us on the weekend for LIPA, the more exciting match that we have coming up.
Yes.
So he will not be in the
Well,
mix.
and the most interesting thing about this Miami game is this is Charleston didn't play last weekend, so they made up one of the games in hand. They cashed in one of the games in hand this weekend, and then this game against Miami is the other one. So coming into this weekend, they'll be even in games played with Charleston. So a win against Miami gives them a 9-point lead coming into the weekend.
There's a scenario where if Louisville City wins at Indy, they will clinch the Players' Shield.
Yeah.
And it's my understanding that the USL should be acknowledging it that night. So on Indy's field,
this weekend against Indy is their first possible chance to clinch. Because if they win against Miami and then if they win, they just anything other than a win from Charleston is a clinch for Louisville City.
So there's a possibility that Louisville City will be lifting a trophy on Indy's field, which
I'm curious.
Very
which
good.
Game kicks off first.
It's earlier in the day.
Let's see. They play.
So if you're going to be in attendance for that Indy match, you might be in for a treat. Potentially.
Yeah, they play Indy at 7, and then Charleston. You fill time. I'm looking this up.
They play earlier.
They play at 4. So yeah, they'll know at kickoff whether or not they can clinch.
So, but I'd prefer it to be at home. But you got to get that done as soon as possible. So, and to do it at Indy, that's good. That's good stuff right there.
That's three games with nothing on the line, which I think I had mentioned a couple weeks ago that I didn't.
The team doesn't think like that.
Situation where we're playing for like a month with nothing, where nothing matters.
No. The team doesn't think like that. I'm not worried about that at all. Last year's team, yeah, I probably would, but no, I'm not worried about that. Non-factor. They want to set records. They want to bang in goals.
Yeah.
They're not going to sit on their laurels.
Clinch early and then like lose momentum. I don't want to keep the momentum going.
I'm not bought in on that one though. That'd have to become a reality for me to. But I don't see that happening.
Yeah. Do you have a player of the match for this one? Kind of a tough choice. I mean, it's not a tough choice. It's the easy choice, actually. I don't know what I'm saying.
It's Davila.
It's Davila. Yeah, this got me.
He did outstanding, but that's not the takeaway from the rest of the team. That one again, it was like, I mean, pretty much all around, everybody did well. It's not like there's any sort of glaring.
Winder had a great game.
And these have to be team efforts, right? Like,
yeah,
there's 11 guys on the pitch.
You don't get a win like this on the back of one player.
Yes, yeah. Soccer is not a sport where you can just rely on one guy to like carry your team, unless you're Messi. He's just different.
Well,
but
unless you're Messi in the MLS,
that's what I meant.
Yeah.
The point being is that you need all of your guys to contribute. You can't just get one superstar and surround him with scrubs. That just doesn't work in soccer. It can in other sports, not here.
No.
And we have a complete team. And when that complete team isn't maybe functioning fully, you got a deep ass bench of quality players too. Most of these guys would start anywhere in the league.
Almost too deep.
It's great. We're
I don't know how we're hanging on.
Thankful about.
I guess everybody wants the championship.
Yeah, we have a lot to be thankful about and happy about. So, Louisville City continues to march on.
Oh, I mean, it's kind of a footnote. Oscar checked in like near the end of the game. Kind of weird to see him suit up in the other team's colors.
Yeah, him and Niall swapped kits after the match.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, Niall was wearing it. It was fun.
So. I like those Memphis away kits are pretty sharp.
Oh, I thought you were going to dunk on them.
I don't know. I'm trying to talk about stuff. The gold and white, it's fine. I like gold and white.
It was pretty just like I wasn't even like when I like.
Honestly, I can't even commit to it. They were just fine.
I was coming out of the restroom like right when they were about to kick off, and I saw the TV screen with it with the match on there first, and I saw the kits. I'm like, oh, why don't they have our game on there yet? I'm like, oh, I'm like, that's Memphis's away kit. What? Caught me off guard.
So. I was dual screening it, so I only got to see the kit. Basically all I could make out is that they were white and gold.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. They were just very. Yeah, it's Memphis. It's not even their colors, so it's kind of annoying.
Yeah, I was about to mention that, and I don't remember them having gold and white away kits historically.
Yeah. It's very weird.
Oh, they're much better than the home kits.
It doesn't surprise me at all that Memphis wouldn't do their kits right when they have so much potential. You know, they could very much have a Vegas-esque sort of thing going on.
Yeah, because I love their crest is great. Top tier crest. One of the best in the league. But yeah, their home kit is just like, or is that a third? I'm not sure. But it looks like foam coming in on a wave, like viewed from above. But Memphis is not a coastal city. I don't know what that's supposed to be representing.
Yeah.
I don't think of the beach. I think of Memphis.
No, we do not. So, all right. Well, Zach, I think we got all of our.
Well, I mean, it's their jerseys say Kickers in giant letters across the front, which is weird because that is a team.
Yeah.
But it's the Cancer Kickers, so now I feel bad about making the joke because that's cool.
Oh, maybe that's what the yellow is coming in. Okay.
Oh, is that
like the rib, like like the yellow, like ribbon things?
Oh, we got to talk to the state of Louisville guys. Do we just make fun of cancer sponsorship for this entire last 10 minutes?
Hey, it can be about cancer and not be a good kit. Like those both can be true.
You know what?
Appreciate the cause.
But now that I'm looking at the jersey, it is the yellow ribbon is the jersey design. It's wrapping around at the bottom.
I couldn't tell. I just put together now. Like,
oh, cut that whole thing.
No, keep it. They can
still be bad.
They can still be bad kits, but for a good cause.
The jersey is literally the yellow cancer ribbon. Now that I'm looking at it closely, I couldn't get a good look at it.
I still love it as a kit.
That's a great pairing. Good on them. I guess I got to buy one now.
Zach, before you get yourself in any more trouble, what recommendations do you have for the people?
I got music recommendations this week. There's an Irish singer that I like, Ora Gartland, who just released like 4 or 5 songs all at once that I haven't heard news about an album, but they all have like the same art on them, so I'm assuming it's like the first 4 songs off of an album
like
coming out.
Albums in a minute, yeah.
But they're all really good. She's kind of interesting because like she's not new. She's had a couple albums. I did not really hear about her until she had a song come out last year that I really, really liked. They played on WFPK a whole bunch. And I looked her up and she had like several albums, but she released that song without an album. Like it was just a single last year. Nothing else ever came out, and had kind of changed her sound up a little bit. Like all of her stuff that I looked up before that was kind of like singer, songwriter, kind of chiller. And this was like a pretty high energy pop song that I enjoyed. And then all of the new singles that just came out have been more of that vibe than the older stuff. So I have been listening to those a lot. I also I've mentioned them before, but I was out of town this weekend because we went to a concert in Columbus to see Previous Industries, which is a rap group. It's Open Mike Eagles' new thing. It's the shirt I picked up. But it was a really fun show, and I really, really like that album a lot. So if you're into like, I don't know, weird artsy indie hip hop, Previous Industries is really fun.
I've never heard of them, so I'll have to check them out. It sounds interesting.
It's Open Mike Eagle and Video Dave and Still Rift, which I like. I like groups. I like when people make rap groups.
I don't know any of those humans, but
more rap groups.
I'll check them out. Previous industry. Cool.
It's pretty fun. They did like a concept of each song is named after a different like defunct store chain. And all of them kind of relate back to, so like one of the songs is called Babbage's Roebuck. It's a fun album. I like concept things. So what about you, Benton? What you got any recommendations for the people?
I've been doing a lot of work in my home gym, setting things up, and one of my recommendations would be there's a lot of like DIY, like home gym stuff that you can do. Like you don't have to buy all this equipment. And some of the stuff I could have maybe done that route had I discovered that corner of the internet sooner than I did. There's a subreddit where it has a bunch of things that people have done. Like I'm not a handy person, but doing some of the things that I have done has got me a little bit handier.
You can do a lot with just like, you can basically do a full upper body workout with just like a set of Olympic rings, basically.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, I'm saying like you could build like your own like power rack or just like a bench press sort of rack or bench and squat rack.
I did a fun DIY gym thing that I would recommend recently because I've been wanting to do more sled drags, like sled pushes and sled drags. And if you just like go to a tire shop and pick up an old tire and put a bolt in the side of it, and then I just like threw some wood down to give it a floor and threw like some rocks in it to make it heavier and just drag that down the street in front of my house. It's a good workout.
Yeah.
Good. Get that explosiveness for our old man soccer games.
Like I got one of those like hex trap bars for deadlifts because I like it better, the kind of like stand in between. And I basically built my own little like plyo box with these like little things on the side. So like I can do the squats like from there a little bit easier because it's you don't have as much range of motion when it's just kind of like on the ground.
Yeah.
So I did that. Like I have a weight holder I put on the wall. I hung a TV and did some other stuff. Like I'm really proud of how it's coming along, but
nice.
Again, there's some DIY stuff I could have done more of. Like for like my landmine attachment. I got like a holder for that because it's a pain in the ass if you're trying to do like a Viking press, like off the ground, like trying to get it up. And then for the visual learners out there, the people watching YouTube,
doing this,
yeah, like you have to get it off the ground. Anyway, DIY home gym stuff. You don't have to buy everything because that shit can be expensive,
especially gym stuff.
Oh yeah, and especially if you're buying weights, like buy them used. I saw a 25-pound bumper plate at Dick's for $70. That's a ton. It looked kind of cool. It was a Nike one.
Bumper plates are really expensive.
Yeah, but like I get a little miffed like if I have to pay.
There's a reason I use rocks on my drag sled, which is like even getting used weights is expensive for weight.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to shoot for like as close to $1 a pound as you can get. You're probably not going to get that low, but
you get yourself some Olympic rings, a set of kettlebells. You can do all the workout you need.
Yeah, there's a lot you can do. But anyway, DIY home gym stuff. Recommendation. So we'll wrap this up. We'll let you guys move on with your day with the next podcast in your queue. Thank you for tuning in. Listen to us here on the State of Louisville. We'll catch you guys next week. Maybe talk about 2 wins, maybe not.
Man, you know what?
Hey,
I was optimistic.
Little City plays twice, so at least we'll have 2.
Pessimistic to try to turn things around. I think we're gonna be mad next week. That's my prediction.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we're talking about some silverware Louisville City earned. How about that?
Yeah.
All right. Take care, y'all. Morados.
Bye, y'all.